All right, we continue on with the Radio Real Estate Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams. All right, I got a text right out of the gate, Dustin. Question is Gen Y. Now to you, Gen Y, hey, that's right. And to me, I'm like, Gen Y, is that, why the name and what's it mean?
Well, it kind of goes back to why I started this business. Gen Y, short for Generation Y. And, out of college, looking for a job, and I was able to find one, not utilizing the degree that I went to school for, which was finance. And I was kind of looking around, unemployment numbers, Generation Y, it's the lowest in the nation for demographic-wise. Mm-hmm. And, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, this is a real problem. Companies aren't getting the new latest and greatest input from these Generation Yers, and as a result of that, they're not going to be innovating. They're not going to be using the newest tools. They're not going to be using the latest and greatest things they have available to them. Right.
And that's so true. For example, take me, I'm 43 years old. Talk about a net, same thing. We're sitting there and you're going, okay, in the back of your mind.
No, net's 29.
Yes. The point is, Dave, when you look at it and you're going, okay, everyone tries to ignore it. And the fact of the matter is social media is here to stay. Like you said, internet is here to stay. And not only is Gen Y Business Solutions going to be there for your Facebook and YouTube needs, but they're going to be out there with the latest and greatest. So if you're part of this solution. If we like I use him monthly, he's on a monthly deal with me, and he does all of our stuff. But he brings me new stuff. He brought me a newsletter last week, so maybe we should start doing this. And when we need to get back around that again and start discussing that. But if something comes up and it's new to the greatest Twitter or whatever it is,
right,
and you're like, I'm not going to Twitter, and you're like, you know what? He can do it for you.
Sure.
And so if you want to be part of that cutting edge of what's going on, this is what these guys do.
All right, Dustin, time to earn your airtime here. Engagement marketing. First, kind of define it. Tell us, what is engagement marketing?
So engagement marketing is, simply put, putting stuff out there that your customers are going to be involved with. They're going to talk back to you, pretty much. And this is important because it keeps you interesting online. It keeps people, liking your stuff that you're putting out, favoriting your video on YouTube, sharing it with all their friends, business colleagues. And it really, by putting stuff out that is engaging, you're going to build leads that way. So
I'll give you a prime example for us, for my business. We talk about, we of course use all the real estate websites to get, for example, you're in Claudia's house sold, right? So we'll put the virtual tour and basic stuff that realtors do. We put it out there. Well, now with what we do is we're out there, we're going trying to get you. So what we're trying to do with a click of a button, Dustin can go out there and not only get Dave Tester, but he can go out there and get Dave's friends, and he can go. And so this thing just goes on and on and on. And you talk about, like I always say, we can touch hundreds of thousands of people with a click of a button. We're going out there saying, hey, we're posting this, check out this article, and we're getting people to go, hey, I like this article, and then they're sending it on to their friends. Well, the whole thing is branded around the Chris Lofthus Group. So right, what's that doing for us? I mean, we're getting not free, but we're pretty much free marketing to the masses, which is huge.
Yeah, and Dustin, what do you got? Some stats for us, or going to explain?
Yeah, just together, to kind of point out the type of reach, or as the internet calls it, virality you can get with Facebook. I do work for an insurance agency. The past couple months, we've built up their likes to 83 people. And if you look at the stats, that 83 people, you have the potential to reach about 18,000 other people.
Wow.
Yeah. So it can grow really
well, it's
fast.
Crazy too. And you do it too, Dave, all the time. I see you email me, or I'll email you something, even though you haven't been getting them. But the point is, like, with the click of a button, Dave, I can send you an article on real estate, and you might go, you know what, I'm not buying or selling real estate, but you know what, my next door neighbor was talking about doing it. He's a friend of mine, and I want to share these stats with him, what's going on with Boise, and how you talk about 16% increase in prices over the last year, the market correction, and what's going to happen now. And those articles, people love the information, but the entire time they're getting your company all the time. And that's what people need to understand. When you use Dustin's services, Gen Y Solutions, you're going to get basically free marketing out of this for the actual cost of doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Dustin, I'm going to ask you the question. When you talk about likability, I'm going to go back to that cocktail party you were talking about. Do you believe it's important? You're not on there to sell necessarily, but I'm going to use Dennis Schaffner. I asked him, What's the most interesting thing you ever built in a home? Here he builds these incredible homes. He goes, one time I built a pet or a dog shower. And I'm thinking, wouldn't that have been a great snapshot? Would that be something you'd put up and say, hey, look at this crazy thing we stumbled onto
Yeah,
today?
I imagine that thing would be sent around the country real quick.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, dog shower. So are you looking for those unique pieces? But at the same time, obviously a dog shower, how'd they ever do that? And then you see Chris Lofthus up there, pass it on like it, go from there. Is that an example?
Yeah, that's a pretty good example, yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're exactly right. Like I was talking to Rob, who owns Cheerleaders down there on Eagle Road, and we were discussing it with him. And it's just like, you got to be out there. You're watching these big companies. I'm getting stuff from Buffalo Wild Wings and Beef Over, whoever. They're out there, and whether they're 90210 texting you or whether they're Facebooking your friend and you, whatever. It's getting to be very competitive. Don't you agree?
Yeah, there's definitely. I think all the Fortune 500 companies are all on Facebook and they're all utilizing it. So, obviously it's working or they wouldn't be using it.
Sure, I totally agree. Dave, I don't know, how much you have used it or how much Claudia uses it with her, with her radio show or whatever, but it's such a unique tool, and I couldn't recommend, Dustin and Gen Y Business Solutions more for what they've done for us,
Yeah. Well, and Dustin, I think that's the piece where we go, okay, we know we need it. I very seldom run into a business where they go, well, we don't get email. So we need social media, and we're looking for the advertising part that ties into it. But what other things can you do with the Gen Y Business Solutions for the company? Obviously, I think you're kind of a turnkey thing for what Chris and Annette do. I know there's an insurance company you work with. I assume you can take care of everything but share that with our listeners.
Yeah, so really the way I sum up what Gen Y Business Solutions can do is if it involves technology, we can do it. We do things from online marketing to customer management systems. There's some great web-based customer management systems out there that you can take advantage of and access from any computer anywhere at any time. And, we can also do, say your company has a big presentation coming up. We can take the time to sit down with you and tailor a PowerPoint presentation that looks just really attractive and very professional. And also do things just like Word documents, stuff like that. So anything you might need that you feel you don't have the time or know how to do, we can do.
The other thing, Dave, is people need to understand, and I'm not going to discuss numbers here, but, you talk about the cost effect of this thing, of what you're doing, and you should reach out to Dustin, have him come out and at least give you a free quote of what he can do for your company, whether you just want to do Facebook and YouTube or whether you need him for some other stuff. I think it's probably one of the most reasonable aspects of my business right now.
Well, and Dustin, I'm going to use a term, synergy. I think that's what the key is. You can't just have Facebook. You can't just have LinkedIn. You can't just have a radio show. But if you use the synergy of all of them, and that's what it sounds like you do, tie those in. I know TJ, and you're probably listening from Pristine Pool and Spa, but he's not actually listening over the air. He's listening via the YouTube on when it works into his schedule, but he knows because of the all the elements that are in there. So do you help? Or do you tie all those in together?
Yeah, that's definitely what my company does, is tie everything together. And that's really what the internet is becoming, is just kind of a blend of all these different marketing tools, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. They have programs now that if you send something out to Twitter, it's going to go out to your Facebook, your LinkedIn, and you're sharing it to everyone on all those different sites.
Right. And for example, when Annette sends the radio show, so Annette will send a reminder to all of our clients and people that we have on Facebook or whatever that we're having the radio show is going to air at 2:00 on Saturday. KIDO, here's our guest. Come Monday morning, if they didn't catch the show, Annette sends it back out again and says, in case you missed the Chris Lofthus real estate radio show, here's a link to it. And they can get at their convenience, they can click on and listen to it. But the whole thing is it's all about our company. And so there might be a key thing on there. So for example, when this show airs, someone's going to hear Gen Y Solutions. And Dave, if you're listening to it, and which I know you do, you listen to it and you send it, someone says, hey, a business guy. For example, we're talking about Morehouse Chiropractic on Eagle Road. could it be of use to him? Possibly. Who knows? But
Right.
the point is that you're getting it out in front of people.
Right, absolutely. All right, so Dustin's number is 871-2188, 871-2188. And Dustin, give your website one more time.
It's Gen Y Biz Solutions, BIZsolutions.com.
All right, we just got about 60 seconds here. 2 quick questions. I'm going to get some free consulting from you. When somebody goes in to the digital world, we'll just call it that, whether it's Facebook, social media, what's the biggest mistake they make? Maybe just give us one. Here's probably what I see as the biggest mistake.
It's really just getting a Facebook profile and expecting people to like you, to just go search on Facebook and say, oh, I like this company, and click the like button. Really, it takes a lot of effort to get likes. You have to put content out there that people are going to share with their friends, and then that's really how you start to build your fan base on Facebook.
All right, and what would the one action step, besides call you, if I said, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to jump into the social world, what would be the one action step you'd tell somebody to do?
I've actually read a lot on this topic. I think one of the best books that a small business owner can probably look at is Likeable Media, which is a book by the CEO of one of the top Facebook or the social marketing companies in the United States.
So go get that book.
Go get that book. If you don't want to take the time to read it, definitely call Gen Y Biz Solutions.
All right,
sure.
I like the sounds of that. Again, it's 871-2188. Did you wanted to add something, didn't you?
Oh no, yeah.
Oh,
I was going to say I was going to have Dustin stay on a little bit.
Okay.
In the fourth segment, I want to talk a little bit. We'll talk a little about real estate, but we'll talk a little bit about Gen Y and what it is, and how important it is right now with the real estate world and the economy in general.
All right, sounds good. We'll be back with more. Man, a lot of information today. I got a full yellow pad full of a good thing Annette records this show, because I got to, I listen to it live, but I'm talking, right?
wrap your head around
Yeah. All right, we'll take a time out. Back with more after this.
Good.